Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 136 of Husavik Heroes here on Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well, and coming up in today's episode we play our second and third games of the Champions League group stage, taking on Sochi and Ajax, and as well as that we will try and complete a perfect domestic season as well. So if you are looking forward to today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying this series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. No intro for the next few days anyway, because yet again I am living in a bit of a COVID house, so we'll just skip the intros while I deal with that. But this is what the Champions League group does look like off the back of the episode at the end of last week before the long weekend here in New Zealand, and of course in England as well. If you missed that episode where we did play Napoli as well as HK in a Malka-Bickerham final, I'll leave a link to it in the top right corner. But we are on 3 points on top of the group thanks to our goal differential. The goal differential, which probably flatters us a little bit because we didn't actually play that well in that game against Napoli, but a couple of late goals there made sure that we did get over the line by a scoreline of 3-0, and Ajax beating Sochi, as you would expect, 2-0. So at the moment we are top of the group, and I would like to think at the end of today as well we will still be top of the group and hopefully still yet to drop points in this group as well, because we take on Sochi, a team who I think everyone in this group will be expecting to beat, and then we are at home against Ajax. So early on we play the home games against the two big threats to us in this group in Napoli and Ajax. We picked up the win against Napoli. Hopefully we can do the same here today against Ajax, but we have played a few games off the back of the Malka-Bickerham final the last time that you did see us, and we had not yet clinched the league title when we did finish the episode at the end of last week, albeit we weren't too far away from it yet to drop points in the league. And off the back of that Malka-Bickerham final, we have won our next 3 games. That 2-0 win there against Breidablik away from home meant that if we did beat HK, then we would secure the title, with them being our closest challengers, and we picked up a very narrow 1-0 win there away from home. They did get a late red card, another secret agent man there in terms of one of our former players in Jorge, but a first half penalty to Kalen Rakasam meant that we did pick up the Islands deal in the top division here in Iceland for a 10th straight season. We are yet to not win the league in a season of this save, which is very nice indeed. And then off the back of that, leading into this game against Sochi, our rotation team picked up a 5-1 win away from home against Akranes. That was thanks to a hat-trick from Mariano and 2 late goals off the bench there to a homegrown talent in Gardason. So we are still yet to drop points all season domestically, just 1 game left in the league for us, and that game is against Philcare, who are quite high on the table, but already all of the positions for European qualification next season are guaranteed. We are going straight into a Champions League playoff thanks to that nice rise that we got at the end of last season. HK are in the league path of Champions League qualifying, Philcare in the Europa League qualifiers, and Nuts KR and Breidablik are going to be in Conference League qualifying, and that is what the league table is going to look like no matter what happens in the remaining games. Akranes and Afteralding are going to be relegated, which is a little bit surprising there for Akranes, a team who have featured in European qualifying the odd time over the past few seasons, but we have picked up the league. Just 1 more win against Philcare means that we will go through the season perfectly, and yet again pick up a domestic quadruple, taking on Philcare fairly shortly off the back of the first game in today's episode away at Sochi. But unfortunately, off the back of that recent run of domestic fixtures off the back of the episode at the end of last week, we did suffer a serious injury yet again. Jonada is going to be missing for us over the next little while, probably for both games in today's episode. He had just recovered from that little injury which kept him out for most of Champions League qualifying, and unfortunately now he has sprained his ankle ligament, so Jonada out for 2 to 4 weeks. We were going to try him as our first choice striker for this upcoming European season, but so far injuries have really put pay to that, as well as the addition of Adam Saki, who has been pretty good for us in the Champions League so far. So Jonada is definitely out of today's episode with that 2 to 4 week injury, but we do welcome back the likes of Kenny Boreal, Frederick Larson and Karel Giroux, who have all had injuries of late. So we're pretty close to full strength, just that injury to Jonata, which we are dealing with. You probably won't be too familiar with any of the players from the Sochi team, which we are taking on in the first game of today's episode. As I said, they did lose that first game of the Champions League 2-0 against Ajax, but they are a team, 3.5-star reputation. They did come through the league path of qualifying in the Champions League. This should be a team we are very, very capable of beating, especially considering that this game, despite being an away game, is being played at a neutral venue, of course, due to the current Russian situation. In terms of our team for this one, we are going to start Andy Harwood over Kenny Boreal. That's because he is on a heavy match load, but apart from that, we are at pretty much full strength. Adam Saki in there for Jonata as well. I don't think we're missing out on too much through making that change these days. But as I said, we are pretty close to full strength for the first game of today's episode. Hercules Delfino comes onto the bench for the injured Jonata and will come back shortly and hopefully make it 6 points from 2 games in the Champions League group as we take on Sochi. And we have to wait till the 37-minute mark for our first highlight of this game against Sochi, which is a little bit concerning, albeit stats-wise. We have looked pretty good so far, albeit good ball there from Traore for Zimmerman, but that's a pretty safe save there for the Sochi goalkeeper at his near post, and this highlight is going to continue. They pump it deep, missed header there by one of Bassaro Game, or I think Ali Ramadan, but thankfully Elias Anderson is there to tidy things up, albeit Sochi get the chance again here to play out from the back, and this first highlight might be more in their favour than it is ours, as Weiss makes his way down the right-hand side, plays that one back for Filipov. Can we hold out here nice and early? This is 100% a game that we should be winning and also doing it fairly comfortably, we'd like to think. So the start, not ideal so far, coming up to the 40-minute mark and not getting a goal yet. And Weiss is through on goal there and puts that in the bottom right corner. Will Lervik came out for it, didn't quite get there, and that is not the start that we were after. Our first highlight after 38 minutes, and we go 1-0 down here against Sochi. Some good build-up play from them. We tried to get possession back, couldn't quite. Weiss gets slotted through there. Will Lervik comes out, doesn't really make himself effective at all, and after 38 minutes, 1-0 Sochi. Albeit, immediately from the restart, we do have a highlight. Hopefully, we can strike back immediately. They might have woken the beast here. You would like to think this would be some upset against the team who were Champions League semi-finalists last season. Nice ball over there for Nicholas Zimmerman. He chips the goalkeeper, just puts that inside the far post, and straight away off of the assist there from Lev Van Tam, only about a minute after the opening goal, we make it 1-1, and hopefully that will kick us into life. Zimmerman gets in behind yet again, just thinks that over the goalkeeper, and we're back on track here somewhat. 1-1, just shy of the 40-minute mark. And not too long off the back of that equaliser is a throw in here for Sochi inside their own half. They do try and play out here. We're putting some good pressure on them, but they do still keep possession as they do knock it about here at the back. They try and loop that ball over the top, but Ali Ramadan, rather fortunately, does get possession back for us there, despite a pretty big deflection that off a Sochi player from the clearance. But thankfully, Elias Anderson was there to tidy things up yet again, and we do keep possession. Lev Van Tam, another nice ball over the top there for Nicholas Zimmerman, just holds things up, plays that back to Lee Lasana Dumbia in the midfield back there for Zimmerman. Some good short passing outside the box, and Adam Saki will pick up his 18th goal of the season, which is pretty good when you consider he only started playing for us off the back of the sale of Matthias Aguirre, and we have been kicked into life here late in the first half. A quick fire double, some good patient build-up play here. In the end, Lasana Dumbia gets the assist, and Saki makes it 2-1 Volsungur. And that is half-time in this one. We are up 2-1, but on the whole, that was a pretty uninspired first half, albeit we did get back on track once Sochi did open the scoring on the 39-minute mark, but we are ahead. There's no players out there on too bad a rating, so I think we'll just leave things as they are, tell the boys things are going well, but they could certainly do better as we kick off the second half with a 2-1 lead. And very shortly off the back of the restart, it is a goal kick here for Sochi. They pump this deep, but Elias Anderson yet again wins us the ball. A nice header down there from Saki to Chaka Traore. He plays that over to Nicholas Zimmerman, puts this one into the mixer. Chaka gets the shot off, comes off the post, and Adam Saki is there to clean things up with his head. He gets a quick fire double either side of half-time, and after looking like a little bit of a scare at the 39-minute mark, we have really kicked into gear either side of half-time here, and that makes it 3-1 very early on here in the second half. Somehow Chaka got his foot on the end of that. Thankfully, the rebound falls right into the path of Saki, and he makes it 3-1. And only 1 minute off the back of that opening goal in the second half, it is a throw in here for Sochi inside our half as well, albeit a poor pass there. Lev Van Tam is able to get possession back for us, and we look to play out yet again, although that's a ball over the top which doesn't quite find Saki. And there's the goal scorer there in Weiss, who is able to get possession back here, and they look to play out from the back here to our Russian opposition. Hopefully, though, being up by 3-1, that would be a scoreline big enough, and a nice interception there from Lasana Dumbia allows us to yet again get on the attack. Lee Van Tam, ball over the top there for Adam Saki. Can he complete his hat-trick? It's a quick-fire hat-trick either side of half-time. He beats the goalkeeper there at his near post, and we have really kicked into gear in the last 8 minutes of in-game time here as we make it 4-1, and that is largely thanks to the hat-trick from Adam Saki. Yet another assist there for Lee Van Tam. Good finish from the Moroccan striker. And we're 4-1 up here with just over 40 minutes left. And only about 5 minutes off the back of that fourth goal. Yet again, we start off here with a goal kick to Sochi, which Basolo Gay does win. And yet again, we're going to try and get them here down the right-hand side, which has been very good for us so far today. A goal to Zimmerman and a few assists to Lee Van Tam. We play that one back to Will Lurvik, though. Controls that nicely with his feet. And yet again, plays it out to Lee Van Tam. Nicholas Zimmerman now down the right-hand side, picks out Lasana Dumbia, makes his way inside the box, squares that for Adam Saki, and he gets yet another goal. Now his 21st of the season. He seems to absolutely love scoring against Russian teams. Of course, in the second qualifying game against Lokomotiv Moscow, he scored 6 goals in that 9-1 win in that second leg. So he's at least now got more than 10 goals against Russian opposition in the Champions League this season, and he makes it 5-1 with still 35 minutes left. And up to the 57-minute mark, not too long off the back of that 5th goal, we're going to make our first substitution. We do have Basaro Gay on a yellow card, so we'll bring on Karel Giroux for him. And not too long off the back of that first substitution, we're going to make our second one. Lasana Dumbia is now down to a red heart, so we're probably going to bring on here someone like Thiago Polo. Karel Giroux can move into the box-to-box midfield role, and Ali Ramadan will come forward into the halfback role for the last half hour. And not too long off the back of those 2 substitutions, we do have yet another highlight here. Ball played over the top for Nicholas Zimmerman. Inside the box, plays that one back for Lee Van Tam. Gets a shot off, comes off the upright. Good chance there for Nicholas Zimmerman, but it does remain 5-1 with 25 minutes left, and Lee Van Tam playing very well, but down to a red heart. Ian Carlo will be our last substitution, as it does remain 5-1. And we go forward to the 71-minute mark for our next highlight. Yet again, we start off with the goalkeeper kicking this forward here for Sochi, but yet again, we do win possession back, play that forward to our centre-backs out from our goal, and we do look here to build from the back. Nice ball over there for Andy Harwood from Hurlurvik, and we do start to hopefully make our way into the opposition half. This could be a good game for us for our goal differential, albeit that ball there for Kalen Rakasan had a little bit too much on it, but after a little bit of a shaky start there, especially after 40 minutes when we were 1-0 down, we really kicked into gear either side of half-time. Before the 50-minute mark, we were up by 4-1, and now 5-1. That's largely thanks to 4 goals to Adam Saki, who, as I said, seems to absolutely love playing against Russian teams. Although here's a chance for Sochi, and yet again, Hurlurvik somewhat ends up in no man's land, and they are going to get a goal back here. Sochi, so this game potentially not quite as good as I was hoping it would be for the goal differential, albeit we are still going to win this quite comfortably. But Hurlurvik just coming out a little bit for both goals, and it hasn't quite paid off. Sochi make it 5-2 with 18 minutes left. And we are about to approach injury time in this one. Sochi did grab another goal back there at the 73-minute mark, but off the back of that, there has been no more highlights. A pretty good display, Sochi scoring with both their shots on target, which is a little bit frustrating, but thankfully we were also quite clinical in front of goal, largely thanks to the efforts of Adam Saki, who gets a 10 out of 10 for his 4 goals. And in the end, we pick up a pretty comfortable 5-2 win, probably a little bit closer than it should have been. Both teams quite considerably outperforming their XG, so in the end, I suppose that somewhat counters things, and we do make it 6 points from 6 in the Champions League. Yet again, we were the early kickoff, so we'll come back shortly, update you guys on what the group does look like going into the second game of today's episode at home against Ajax, and we'll also see if we can complete the perfect domestic season. And we are back just prior to the second game of today's episode against Ajax, and thankfully we can say for the first time in a few years we have completed a perfect domestic season, did not drop or draw a game at all, won all of our fixtures. That is off the back of a 3-1 win at home against Vilkia in the last game of our league season. So we do go through with a perfect record of 66 points from 22 games, picking up the domestic quadruple in absolute style. No change, as I said before, to any of the finishing positions there on the league table, but we do make sure that we end up winning the league title very comfortably yet again by 13 points and 26 points over third place Phil Kerr. So really there was daylight between us and HK, and then HK and Phil Kerr. So I think it's pretty safe to say that we are the two teams who deserve to be in Champions League qualifying from Iceland for the next European season. But a good way to end the domestic season there, going for it, winning every single game that we play. But going into the second game of today's episode, this is what the group does look like. In the other game, it was a 0-0 draw between Napoli and Ajax. That actually opens up a chance for us here to grab a good lead on top of the group if we can beat Ajax in this home game. They defeated Sochi 2-0 in their first game, so you'd like to think at home here we're a decent chance of getting a good result and making it 9 points from 9, as we were hoping for at the halfway stage in this group, of course, because in the second half we do have away games against both Napoli and Ajax, which could be a little bit trickier. But if we get on 9 points from 9 halfway through the group, that will take us a long way towards qualifying for the knockouts of the Champions League yet again. In terms of us going into this game, unfortunately, we do have one injury somewhat. Elias Anderson, he is out with food poisoning for this one, but we do see the return of Kenny Boreal because his workload has been reduced off the back of a few weeks break off the back of that last game of the league season. So Kenny Boreal comes back in at left back, but Thiago Polo is going to partner Ali Ramadan in defence for us with that food poisoning to Elias Anderson. Gaetano de Prisco makes his way onto the bench with that situation with Anderson. As well, a quick look at Ajax before we do get into this one. They currently find themselves top of the Eredivisie, playing a 4-3-3, quite a narrow one, so quite similar to what we are doing, but with no wingers, and they are a 4-star reputation club, so a little bit better than Sochi, as you would expect. But we did beat these guys in the Europa League knockouts a little while ago. If we go over to the data hub and look at past meetings, you will see we actually beat them somewhat comfortably in the quarterfinals of the Europa League back in 2029. We went through 3-1 on aggregate, so we definitely can beat these guys, and we should have a lot stronger squad these days as well. So at home, I would like to think, as I said, that we can make it 9 points from 9 in this group at the halfway stage, and we'll come back shortly and hopefully get the job done at the Laugardas Villa. And at the 14-minute mark, the first highlight of this one is a corner in our favour. Unfortunately, Basaroge can't quite get his head on the end of that, and now Fer gets on the ball here for Ajax and gives them a good counter-attacking opportunity here as he makes his way down the left-hand side. So this is not the start that we were after earning that corner, because that was the first shot of the game. Mohamed Kudus, a player that we are quite familiar with from the Hexagon Challenge last year. Here's a great chance for Kakao, but he just puts that wide. Good chance there for Ajax, but it remains 0-0 after 15 minutes. And now up to the 20-minute mark for our next highlight. Yet again, it's a set piece in our favour, as we do have a throw, and this time we do link up with our teammates, and Basaroge switches that over to Thiago Polo coming into the team today for Elias Anderson with that food poisoning. But Chaka Traore is on the ball here down our left-hand side. Basaroge switches that out to the right-hand side, but absolutely no one there as Bernardina gets on the ball for Ajax. So far, a little bit of a rough start for us trying to link up with our teammates. Mohamed Kudus gets pressed but does keep possession as he passes that ball forward. Now Ajax are going to try and get something going here down the right-hand side. Fer puts that one back in, but thankfully it's a poor pass there from one of the Ajax players, and a chance here for Adam Saki. Tries to chip the goalkeeper, just a little bit too much on that one. Still 0-0 after 22 minutes. And we make our way up to the half-hour mark now. Still 0-0. Our third highlight of this game is a throw-in inside the final third. Adam Saki gets on the ball inside the box, plays that one back out to Levan Tam, who of course was very good in that prior game against Sochi. That goes far post, and Chaka Traore gets his head on the end of that, puts that in the bottom left corner, and we go 1-0 up here at the half-hour mark in what has been a pretty even game so far. So very happy to get on top of things in this one. We kept possession off the back of that throw. Levan Tam plays this to Lasana Dumbia right on the edge of the box, and Chaka Traore somehow gets his head on the end of that, puts that bottom left corner, and it's 1-0 Volsungur. And up to the 38-minute mark, this time it is a set piece to Ajax. They have a throw in trying to play out from inside their own half, but they get that to their centre-backs, and it is Timber on the ball, apparently a target of Man United, I think, in real life. Great chance here for Chaka Traore, but for some reason tries to chip the goalkeeper. I think all he needed to do there was slot that in the bottom right corner. That's a golden chance to make it 2-0, but still 1-0 Volsungur, just shy of half-time. And that is half-time in this one. We do take a 1-0 lead into it, which is good. We probably should be 2-0 up, though. That great chance there late in that first half to Chaka Traore, but he did open the scoring earlier. At the 32-minute mark, we certainly started to get on top of Ajax throughout that first half as well, so pretty encouraged by how things are going, and hopefully we can build on that lead here in the second half. We'll kick off the second 45 minutes with a 1-0 lead. And yet again, we have a very early highlight here in the second half, 46 minutes gone, and we are about to have a free kick here to Levantam. He picks out Kalen Rakasan, good short passing yet again. Chaka Traore with a great chance, this time blasts it over the bar. A few really good chances for him either side of half-time, but the scoreline remains 1-0. And just shy of the hour mark, we do have our next highlight. We are in position and start to make our way here into the Ajax final third. Chaka Traore drives forward. Nicholas Zimmerman with a good chance there, but a good save from Onana. What's his name here? He tips that over the bar, but we are still going to have a corner, but we've certainly had some really good chances in the second half so far. It's a bit of a cluster on the line, and I think Chaka Traore has put that in the back of the net. We'll just wait and see here what the VAR check says, because that certainly looked very, very messy. But in the end, the goal has been awarded, and finally we get our 2-0 lead, and finally Chaka Traore gets his second goal of the game. I think there was a man on the line there from Ajax who did play Kalen Rakasan onside, and after a few very good chances either side of half-time, we make it 2-0. And up to the 66-minute mark, we're going to make our first substitution. Lassana Doumbia, as he tends to do, is down to a red heart, Karel Giroud, to come on for him. And up to the 69-minute mark, a nice time here for a highlight, hopefully a goal. We put this far post, Bassero Gay just heads that wide, so it is still going to be 2-0 at the 69-minute mark, but Bassero Gay is down to a red heart. It will be Gaetano de Prisco this time coming on for him yet again. Ali Ramadan will shift forward into the DM role, still 2-0 up with 20 minutes left. And very shortly off the back of that previous highlight and second substitution, a good interception there from Levantam as Ajax were on the attack. He's having quite a good episode today, it is fair to say, and yet again he is on the ball, gets that forward to Nicholas Zimmerman as we start to make our way now into the Ajax half. In the final third, Chaka Traore in search of a hat-trick, bit of a loose pass there back to Kenny Boreal, but De Prisco starts to make his way now into the Ajax half. Karel Giroud forward there to Rakasan. Chaka with a hat-trick chance. He will beat the goalkeeper at that near side, and he does get a hat-trick. He's had a fair few chances to get that hat-trick, as I said, either side of half-time. He certainly could have got a few more goals, could probably have 5 in this game, but he has got a third, and that should really seal this result with 20 minutes left. Kalen Rakasan this time with the assist, and it's 3-0 Volsungur late in this one. And just about to enter the last 10 minutes of this one, still 3-0 up, so we should make it 9 points from 9 in the Champions League at the halfway stage, but Nicholas Zimmerman is down to a red heart. We have quite a few options on the bench in terms of players who could come on for him, but I think the most natural might be Patrick Nygaard, so he'll get some game time here in the last 11 minutes. And only a few minutes left to go in this one. Ajax boot that ball deep to Husavik. We will be picking up 9 points though from our first 3 Champions League games and putting ourselves in quite a nice spot to make the knockouts as well, because Ajax will be stuck on 4 points. Napoli will at least get up to 4 points if they can beat Sochi in the other game on this match day, and that will put a cherry on top. Adam Saki there beating the goalkeeper at his near post off the back of an assist there from Kenny Boreal. We'll just wait here for a VAR check, but he confirms the goal, and we make it 4-0 here against Ajax. This has been quite a bit better than the other performance that we did put in at the end of last week against Napoli. This one, a lot more convincing. Good finish there from Adam Saki to keep his good run of form going and make it 4-0 late in this one. And that is full time. Very convincing 4-0 win there against Ajax as well. You can tell by the stats we were really, really dominant in that one. Ajax really only had a good chance there in the first half, around about that 15-minute mark where one of their strikers put it wide, but in the end that was a very, very convincing performance from us there. As I said, a lot better than when we did get the win over Napoli by a bit of a flattering scoreline. That means that we are going to be on 9 points from 9 after our first 3 games in this group. And as you can see on screen, 5 points clear of both Ajax and Napoli. So already we are in quite a strong position to be making our way out of this group, and especially when you consider we have one more game left against Sochi as well. We should get to 12 points at the very least, so that's already looking like a good marker to potentially top this group. But I'd like to think we're already in with a very, very good chance now of making the Champions League knockouts off the back of that 4-0 win there against Ajax at home. And back in the inbox off the back of those 2 games in today's episode, good wins there against Sochi and Ajax, although I'd probably say the win there against Ajax was a little bit better, looked a lot more solid defensively there, with Thiago Polo coming in for Elias Anderson, who did have food poisoning, but that hat-trick there to Chaka Traore in the second game backs up a good performance from Adam Saki in the first one, and we do make sure we are on 9 points after our first 3 games in this Champions League group. We'll come back tomorrow, we'll have our end of season review, but we're also going to play the return game against Ajax away at the Johan Cruyff Arena. But off the back of that 4-0 win, a very, very convincing one, I would like to think we might be in with a good chance of maintaining our record against those guys. We are yet to drop points against those guys or draw, let alone lose against them in European competition so far in this save. But that will do it for today's episode. As I said, 2 good wins there against Sochi and Ajax to make sure that we do stay top of this group. If you did enjoy today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying this series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. Coming back tomorrow for Ajax away and the end of season review before we get into the last 2 games of this Champions League group in the episode the day after that. But until tomorrow for Ajax and that end of season review, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.